Okay, let's try to go through the 11th Sutta, Culasihanada Sutta, the Shorter Discourse on the Lion's Roar. Thus have I heard. On one occasion, the Blessed One was living at Savatthi in Jeta's Grove, Anathapindika's park. There he addressed the monks thus, "Monks, Venerable Sir," they replied. The Blessed One said, "Monks, only here is there a recluse," a samana, I think. "Only here a second recluse, only here a third recluse, only here a fourth recluse. The doctrines of others are devoid of recluses. That is how you should rightly roar your lion's roar." So here the Buddha is saying, only in the Buddha's teachings, in the Buddha Sasana, you have the first, second and third recluse, the first, second and third real monk. I suppose he says first, second, third and fourth maybe refers to the four types of fruits, fruitions, the Sotapanna, Sakadagamin, Anagamin and Arahant. It is possible, monks, that wanderers of other sects might ask, but on the strength of what argument or with the support of what authority do the Venerable Ones say thus? Wanderers of other sects who ask thus may be answered in this way. Friends, 4 things have been declared to us by the Blessed One who knows and sees, accomplished and fully enlightened. This is Arahant Sammasambuddha. On seeing these in ourselves, we say, only here is there a recluse, only here a second recluse, only here a third recluse, only here a fourth recluse. The doctrines of others are devoid of recluses. What are the 4? We have confidence in the teacher, that means the Buddha. We have confidence in the Dhamma. We have fulfilled the precepts, and our companions in the Dhamma are dear and agreeable to us, whether they are laymen or those gone forth. These are the 4 things declared to us by the Blessed One who knows and sees, accomplished and fully enlightened, on seeing which in ourselves we say as we do. So the Buddha says, there are 4 things that they possess. They have confidence in the Buddha, the Dhamma, and they keep the Aryan precepts, and the companions in the Dhamma are dear to them. It is possible, monks, that wanderers of other sects might say thus, "Friends, we too have confidence in the teacher, that is, in our teacher. We too have confidence in the Dhamma, that is, in our Dhamma. We too have fulfilled the precepts, that is, our precepts. And our companions in the Dhamma are dear and agreeable to us too, whether they are laymen or those gone forth." What is the distinction here, friends? What is the variance? What is the difference between you and us? Wanderers of other sects who ask thus may be answered in this way. How then, friends, is the goal one or many? That means is the object one or many? Answering rightly, the wanderers of other sects would answer thus, "Friends, the goal is one, not many. But friends, is that goal for one affected by lust or free from lust?" Answering rightly, the wanderers of other sects would answer thus, "Friends, that goal is the goal is for one free from lust, not for one affected by lust. But friends, is that goal for one affected by hate or free from hate?" Answering rightly, they would answer, "Friends, that goal is for one free from hate, not for one affected by hate. But friends, is that goal for one affected by delusion or free from delusion?" Answering rightly, they would answer, "Friends, that goal is for one free from delusion, not for one affected by delusion. But friends, is that goal for one affected by craving or free from craving?" Answering rightly, they would answer, "Friends, that goal is for one free from craving, not for one affected by craving. But friends, is that goal for one affected by clinging, attachment, or free from clinging?" Answering rightly, they would answer, "Friends, that goal is for one free from clinging, not for one affected by clinging. But friends, is that goal for one who has vision or for one without vision?" Answering rightly, they would answer, "Friends, that goal is for one with vision, not for one without vision. But friends, is that goal for one who favors and opposes, or for one who does not favor and oppose?" Answering rightly, they would answer, "Friends, that goal is for one who does not favor and oppose, not for one who favors and opposes. But friends, is that goal for one who delights in and enjoys proliferation, or for one who does not delight in and enjoy proliferation? Answering rightly, they would answer, friends, that goal is for one who does not delight in and enjoy proliferation, not for one who delights in and enjoys proliferation. Here proliferation is papancha, means proliferation of thoughts. Monks, there are these two views, the view of being and the view of non-being. Any recluses or Brahmins who rely on the view of being, adopt the view of being, accept the view of being, are opposed to the view of non-being. Any recluses or Brahmins who rely on the view of non-being, adopt the view of non-being, accept the view of non-being, are opposed to the view of being. Any recluses or Brahmins who do not understand as they actually are the origin, the disappearance, the gratification, the danger, and the escape, in the case of these two views, are affected by lust, hatred, delusion, affected by craving, clinging, without vision, given to favoring and opposing, and they delight in and enjoy proliferation. They are not free from birth, aging, and death, from sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. They are not freed from suffering, I say. Any recluses or Brahmins who understand as they actually are the origin, the disappearance, the gratification, the danger, and the escape, in the case of these two views, are without lust, without hate, without delusion, without craving, clinging, with vision, not given to favoring and opposing, and they do not delight in and enjoy proliferation. They are freed from birth, aging, and death, from sorrow, lamentation, pain, grief, and despair. They are freed from suffering, I say. Monks, there are these four kinds of clinging. What for? Clinging to sensual pleasures, clinging to views, clinging to rules and observances, and clinging to a doctrine of a self. Though certain recluses and Brahmins claim to propound the full understanding of all kinds of clinging, they do not completely describe the full understanding of all kinds of clinging. They describe the full understanding of clinging to sensual pleasures without describing the full understanding of clinging to views, clinging to rules and observances, and clinging to a doctrine of self. Why is that? Those good recluses and Brahmins do not understand these three instances of clinging as they actually are. Therefore, though they claim to propound the full understanding of all kinds of clinging, they describe only the full understanding of clinging to sensual pleasures without describing the full understanding of clinging to views, clinging to rules and observances, and clinging to a doctrine of self. Though certain recluses and Brahmins claim to propound the full understanding of all kinds of clinging, they describe the full understanding of clinging to sensual pleasures and clinging to views without describing the full understanding of clinging to rules and observances and clinging to a doctrine of self. Why is that? They do not understand the two instances. Therefore, they describe only the full understanding of clinging to sensual pleasures and views. Though certain recluses and Brahmins claim to propound the full understanding of all kinds of clinging, they describe the full understanding of clinging to sensual pleasures, clinging to views, and clinging to rules and observances, without describing the full understanding of clinging to the doctrine of self. Because in such a Dhamma Vinaya as that, it is plain that confidence in the teacher is not rightly directed, that confidence in the Dhamma is not rightly directed, that fulfillment of the precepts is not rightly directed, and that the affection among companions in the holy life is not rightly directed. Why is that? Because that is how it is when the Dhamma Vinaya is badly proclaimed and badly expounded, unemancipating, unconducive to peace, expounded by one who is not fully enlightened. Monks, when a Tathagata, Arahant Sammasambuddha, claims to propound the full understanding of all kinds of clinging, he completely describes the full understanding of all kinds of clinging. He describes the full understanding of clinging to sensual pleasures, views, rules and observances, and to a doctrine of self. Monks, in such a Dhamma Vinaya as that, it is plain that confidence in the teacher is rightly directed, that confidence in the Dhamma is rightly directed, that fulfillment of the precepts is rightly directed, and that the affection among companions in the Dhamma is rightly directed. Why is that? Because that is how it is when the Dhamma Vinaya is well proclaimed and well expounded, emancipating, conducive to peace, expounded by one who is fully enlightened. Now these four kinds of clinging have what as their source, what as their origin, from what are they born and produced. These four kinds of clinging have craving as their source, craving as their origin. They are born and produced from craving. Craving has what as its source? Craving has feeling as its source. Feeling has what as its source? Feeling has contact as its source. Contact has what as its source? Contact has the sixfold base as its source. The sixfold base has what as its source? The sixfold base has nama rupa, mentality, materiality as its source. Mentality, materiality has what as its source? Mentality, materiality has consciousness as its source. Consciousness has what as its source? Consciousness has volition as its source. Volition has what as its source? Volition has ignorance as its source. Ignorance as its origin. It is born and produced from ignorance. Monks, when ignorance is abandoned and true knowledge has arisen in a monk, then with the fading away of ignorance and the arising of true knowledge, he no longer clings to sensual pleasures, no longer clings to views, no longer clings to rules and observances, no longer clings to a doctrine of a self. When he does not cling, he is not agitated. When he is not agitated, he personally attains Nibbana. He understands birth is destroyed, the holy life has been lived, what had to be done has been done. There is no more coming to any state of being. That is what the Blessed One said. The monks were satisfied and delighted in the Blessed One's words. So in this sutta, the Buddha says that the real recluse or the real monk is only found in the Buddha's Dhamma Vinaya, in the Buddha's teachings. And then if the external ascetics say that they also are similar, then the Buddha says, but their Dhamma Vinaya is different. So even these four things that they claim to have confidence in the teacher, confidence in the Dhamma, they have the precepts and they love their companions in the holy life. Even that is faulty because the Dhamma Vinaya is faulty. Then the Buddha says, talks about the four kinds of attachment or clinging to sensual pleasures, clinging to views, clinging to rules and observances, and clinging to a doctrine of a self. The Buddha says, these external ascetics, they are not able to explain these four types of clinging in detail. They might be able to explain one, or explain two, or explain three, but they are not able to explain all four correctly and in detail. And after that, the Buddha says, clinging, the source of clinging is craving, source of craving is feeling, etc., just like in the Dependent Origination suttas. So that's the end of the sutta for tonight. Anything to discuss?